What's up, everybody? Under the Wire 85 back here with you to give you my WWE Night of Champions 2012 predictions page. The last video you probably saw was my TNA No Surrender 2012 review. I hope to have a review of this event as well, so you can call this my preview predictions for the upcoming pay-per-view. There are 7 announced matches. There were only 6 going into SmackDown, but then somehow the Intercontinental title, which that's the whole Night of Champions thing, and that is that every belt has to be defended. So with that said, there are 7 matches on the card. 6 of them championship matches, and then there's 1 that is not a championship match. I will go in order from, I guess, least significant to most significant, and yes, this is the legitimate order of what it would be in. Under the Wire 85 is where you can find this again, and it'll be labeled in the title for this. First match I will do, as it's off to the left, since you'll probably be seeing me look off to the left here. First match is the pre-show match, which is the Battle Royal to determine who Antonio Cesaro faces for the U.S. title later in the night. Speculations are this could be one of a number of different people. The most obvious choice looks to be Santino, but it's kind of getting boring. I mean, Santino's fine, but on a belt, just not up for it. Jack Swagger's name has been thrown around. Zack Ryder's name has been thrown around. Insert random person here, and they could be in the hunt as well. I mean, for goodness sake, Heath Slater could be in this match. It really wouldn't matter. The way they're building Antonio Cesaro right now, which, by the way, if nobody really believes me, his theme is, or looks and hears, like it's based on Dean Malenko's theme from the early 2000s. It's just the way I see it. The way they're building this guy is that he's going to start beating people for the U.S. title and starting to make it legitimate again, because he's beating people from all over the world, and even though his gimmick of saying things in 5 languages sucks, he is a pretty talented wrestler. He came from Ring of Honor with, he was in a tag team with Chris Hero called the Kings of Wrestling. So now here he's a U.S. champion. I don't care who wins the pre-show battle, they're gonna have Cesaro retain. I hate that they're doing it this way, but they haven't really built up anybody except for Santino. So, with that being said, I'm just going to say Cesaro wins the match and retains the U.S. title in an uneventful start to the pay-per-view, even though that match won't be first. Layla versus Caitlyn for the Divas title. I could see this going one of 2 ways. Layla has been fantastic as the Divas Champion since she won it at, I believe, Extreme Rules in Chicago. Caitlyn's shown a lot of progress and promise, but I don't know. The underlying factor here is Eve, and because it's not Eve and Layla, that's what makes me have the swerve of Caitlyn winning and then Eve coming back, asking for a title match, and winning on Raw. I could see that happening. I really could. But I'm going to say Layla's going to win, simply because if that's not the transition they're making, then Layla needs to hold on to the belt and have her drop it to Eve, or whoever. Which, by the way, the women's division is just... it's just a joke. I mean, Beth Phoenix they're not doing anything with. Natalia they're not doing anything with. They didn't do anything with Gail Kim. They didn't do anything with Awesome Kong / Karma, but that's also because she was pregnant. But regardless, I'm going to say Layla retains and holds on to the Divas Championship for at least another month. Intercontinental title is next, which this was thrown in at the last second. I had a feeling it was going to be The Miz versus Rey Mysterio, which it kind of is. Unfortunately, it's The Miz, Rey Mysterio, and now Cody Rhodes is randomly in it, and then they added Sin Cara, because Sin Cara and Rey Mysterio have become an exciting tag team together, because apparently they're exciting because they're both wearing masks. That's That's great. That's great. Again, it doesn't make a ton of sense with how they've built these guys. Excuse me. It doesn't make a ton of sense how they've built these guys for the Miz to drop it to any of them. Rey Mysterio and Sin Cara, they look like they're going to be a tag team for a while, which, to be perfectly honest with you, I'm fine with that. Really, I'm fine with that. They can go do work with some of the tag teams that are coming up. The Usos, Primetime Players, all those guys. Kofi and R-Truth. They could put together some good matches with those guys. So with that said, I don't like the whole Sin Cara or Rey Mysterio winning it, which means it comes down to Cody Rhodes or The Miz, and ever since they pushed Dolph Ziggler and not Cody Rhodes, they've decided to just not push Cody Rhodes at all. So I'm going to have to say The Miz is going to retain this because they have no reason to take it off of him, because they're still building him back to being in that top tier of guys in the company. So The Miz retains. So far, not a ton of movement. All right. Yeah, the tag team titles. That's right. Kofi Kingston and R-Truth, they were scheduled to face the Primetime Players, and then this whole Kane and Daniel Bryan sensation came about, and now they're in the title match instead, which that sets up the Primetime Players to get a rematch against whoever wins this match. I'm telling you right now, the WWE loves doing this. Okay? They love putting odd couple tag teams together and making them champions. Okay? Rock and Mankind. Rock and Sock Connection. Could it get any more odd than that? Oh, they did. They went with Booker T and Goldust, which both of those tag teams, incredible. Great ring chemistry. They did great promos. They beat a ton of people. Great tag teams. This has the potential to be that in Kane and Daniel Bryan. They're both talented. They're both seasoned enough to do work on the mic. And they would make a great tag team, because they'd probably be pissed off at each other through every match and still win, which would be hilarious to watch. And then go to their anger management things as the tag team champions, and they could get some mileage out of this. Kofi and R-Truth are coming out in suits wrestling singles matches. No. Of course, Kofi kind of got screwed because Evan Bourne decided to break their wellness policy multiple times. And R-Truth kind of got screwed because he got suspended when him and Miz had a good thing going. So now they're kind of both in limbo. That's why they put them together. And so Kane and Daniel Bryan are going to be the new WWE Tag Team Champions. They can get a lot of mileage out of those two guys. Then there's the final three matches, which there's been a lot of speculation that two of them are going to be intertwined. I'll see it when I believe it. So I'm going to go and start with the one match that's not a title match, which is Dolph Ziggler versus Randy Orton. Which, if they do it the way I think they might do it, they might start the show with this. Dolph Ziggler's got the briefcase. Randy Orton is trying to get himself into contention for a top-tier spot again since coming back from his suspension. So it kind of makes sense for both of these guys to win. You really haven't pushed Dolph Ziggler to be the Money in the Bank guy because you've basically had him lose all the time. So, but again, he's going to cash in, and when he cashes in, he's going to win. John Cena already debunked the, hey, I'm going to cash in, and oh, wait, I lost. Now I'm the first guy to do that. So he already broke that streak of every guy cashing and winning, so Dolph Ziggler's going to win. It's just a matter of who he's going to cash in on. It makes sense for him to cash in on Sheamus. It also makes sense for him to cash in on ADR if Sheamus Brogue kicks him after the match. But the speculation in this match is that Dolph Ziggler is going to cash in his Money in the Bank, and then Randy Orton's going to beat him later in the night and become champion. I don't believe that. I do think it's more advantageous to have Dolph Ziggler win this match, so I'm going to say Dolph Ziggler wins the match. And if the crazy thing happens, so be it. So with that said, Dolph Ziggler wins the match. Again, you push the guys you're supposed to push. Sheamus and Alberto Del Rio for the World Heavyweight Championship. Sheamus has had the belt for a while. The Brogue Kick is illegal. Alberto Del Rio's getting like his 5th chance, it seems like. And this one's not as entertaining as the Randy Orton Christian 5 months that they had. The Brogue Kick being illegal makes me think that Alberto Del Rio is going to win the match. The problem is, if Alberto Del Rio wins, that really opens the door for the theory of Dolph Ziggler cashing in at Night of Champions. I'm just going to play it safe and say Dolph Ziggler doesn't cash in that night, and that ADR wins because somehow the Brogue Kick is used and a ref sees it and Alberto Del Rio wins. As much as I like Alberto Del Rio on the title, the fact is that there are way too many factors going into this match. So I'll just pick ADR to win, and if Dolph Ziggler cashes in, well then, I've already said it's a possibility, so I won't look completely clueless. And finally, the last match of the night, CM Punk and John Cena. Finally, CM Punk gets to be in the main event of a pay-per-view, which he's been complaining that he hasn't been in the main event for months, which is actually kind of true, even though he's got the top belt in the company. Let me say this before I get into the prediction. As unfortunate as the Jerry Lawler situation was and still is, CM Punk and John Cena did a marvelous job of putting together that program they put together on Raw to quickly draw the attention away from Jerry Lawler and back to the show. I realize that Jerry Lawler's health is very important. I'm glad he's getting better, but the show has to go on. And with that said, John Cena and CM Punk, they bring the best out of each other. They really do. A buddy of mine compared them to Rock Austin. I don't know if I'm ready to compare them to that, but they're getting there. They are. Because John Cena does not cut promos with anybody else the type he cuts with CM Punk. And CM Punk is at his best when he's involved with John Cena. I don't know why they bring it out in the best of each other, but I'm glad they do. So with that said, the championship's on the line. There's not as much hype going into this match as there was, obviously, for some of their other matches. Nevertheless, though, here's the bottom line, people. The Rock has a title match at Royal Rumble. That's in January. We're in September. If John Cena takes the belt now, he inches ever so closer to Ric Flair's 16 world titles, which supposedly is an untouchable record. So, if you're going to put Cena back on the belt, you should wait. CM Punk being the champion for a few more months, good things happen. Okay? So, The Rock is going to get his title shot at Royal Rumble. He's probably going to win. And then it makes sense for The Rock and John Cena 2 to happen at WrestleMania, where John Cena beats him and takes the title from him. That makes a ton of sense. They're setting up for it. It makes a lot of sense. With that said, it means that CM Punk is probably going to have to drop the belt to The Rock, which I'm not a huge fan of, but if it's between John Cena dropping it and getting it back, or John Cena dropping it and CM Punk winning at WrestleMania, I just think the match here is The Rock, John Cena 2 at WrestleMania. With that having been in the fold, you can have CM Punk hold it till Royal Rumble, then have him lose it, then have him get his rematch at the next pay-per-view, and then John Cena gets his match at WrestleMania and wins. So with that said, CM Punk retains. Let's go back over this again. I don't care who wins the pre-show Battle Royal. They're going to lose to Antonio Cesaro for the U.S. title. Miz retains the IC title in the Fatal 4-Way. Layla retains against Caitlyn. The tag team titles, we have new champions in Kane and Daniel Bryan. Dolph Ziggler beats Randy Orton. ADR beats Sheamus for the World Heavyweight title. If Ziggler cashes in, so be it, but I'm going to pick ADR to win the match. And then CM Punk retains. Keeps the WWE title. Under the Wire 85, that's where you can find this. I will have my review once the event is over. Take care, everybody. Hopefully you enjoyed. I'll catch you on the flip side. Peace.